In every man's life, there comes a moment when he realizes that his inner world is shaping his outer results. You can practice semen retention, go to the gym, or read 100 self-help books, but the truth is simple. Your mentality decides your destiny. The way you think, the mindset you carry, and the perspective you adopt can either build you into a strong, independent man or keep you trapped in weakness and confusion. When it comes to semen retention, two mindsets stand out above all: the sheep mentality and the wolf mentality. Both carry lessons, both carry consequences, and understanding when to embody each can mean the difference between mastery and mediocrity. The problem many men face today is that they live with the sheep mentality. Sheep follow the crowd without asking why. They play it safe, avoid challenges, and are quick to give up when things get hard. On semen retention, this looks like starting the journey just because someone else said it's powerful, without truly understanding the reason behind it. The sheep may last a few days, maybe even weeks, but the moment temptation arrives, he falls back into the cycle because everyone else does it. He sees pornography as normal because society normalizes it. He thinks spilling his seed daily is fine because no one questions it. This mindset creates a man who is easily swayed, always dependent on others for direction, and never in control of his own desires. But then, there is the wolf. The wolf mentality is self-reliance, discipline, hunger, and leadership. The wolf does not follow the herd blindly. He chooses his path consciously. When urges strike, he doesn't crumble. He stands firm, using the pressure as fuel to sharpen his body, mind, and spirit. On semen retention, the wolf mentality is what transforms the practice from a trend into a lifestyle. He doesn't just retain for the sake of saying he's doing it. He retains because he understands the value of his energy, the power of his seed, and the strength that comes from mastering his impulses. The wolf mentality is not about following the crowd. It's about moving with purpose, carving your own way, even if the world doesn't understand. Now, here's where many men misunderstand. It's not about being a wolf all the time. Wolves are powerful, but they can also be reckless, prideful, and hostile if not balanced. Sheep, on the other hand, may seem weak, but they carry lessons of humility, patience, and community. The truth is, both mentalities have their place, and the secret to success on semen retention and in life is knowing when to be the sheep and when to be the wolf. There are times when the sheep's qualities can protect you from unnecessary battles. For example, when your energy is rising during retention, pride can make you arrogant, and arrogance can put you in situations you don't need to be in. By keeping the humility of the sheep, you avoid needless fights, wasted energy, and ego-driven mistakes. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise enough to conserve your strength for the battles that truly matter. The man who knows when to bow his head and when to raise it is far more powerful than the man who is always trying to prove himself. On the other hand, there will be moments when being too much of a sheep keeps you trapped in smallness. You'll meet people who doubt your path, who tell you that retention is nonsense, or who mock you for choosing discipline over indulgence. If you remain the sheep in those moments, you'll shrink, you'll second-guess yourself, and you'll quietly return to the herd. But if you step into the wolf's mentality, you rise above the noise. You learn to walk alone if necessary, confident in the vision you've chosen. This is where true growth happens, when you stop asking for permission to improve your life and instead claim it for yourself. Think of it this way: the sheep mentality serves you when it comes to learning, patience, and humility. When you first begin your semen retention journey, you need the willingness to follow, to listen, and to trust in guidance. This is where the sheep's humility becomes valuable. Sometimes you don't know everything. Sometimes you need to accept wisdom from those who have walked the path before you. The sheep mentality reminds you not to let your ego block your growth. It's okay to admit you're still learning. It's okay to absorb knowledge, and it's okay to move carefully rather than rushing blindly. Without humility, even the strongest wolf can destroy himself. But the wolf mentality is what carries you through the storms. When temptation comes knocking late at night, when stress pushes you toward relapse, when your friends mock your lifestyle because they don't understand it, this is when the wolf must rise. The wolf reminds you that discipline is stronger than desire, that hunger for mastery outweighs temporary pleasure, and that standing alone is better than following the herd into weakness. The wolf mentality shapes outcomes by giving you the strength to endure, to persist, and to push past the limits that hold others back. Imagine a man with only the sheep mentality on semen retention. He may start off strong because he listens, he follows advice, and he tries to do what's right. But when the crowd laughs, when the world tempts, when he feels alone, he breaks. His outcome is short-term progress followed by long-term failure. Now imagine a man with only the wolf mentality. He starts with strength, pride, and fire. He goes hard, maybe even too hard. But without humility, without patience, he can burn out, become arrogant, and eventually fall into recklessness. His outcome is power without balance, strength that collapses on itself. The man who thrives on semen retention is the one who balances both. He knows when to be a sheep, humble enough to learn, patient enough to wait for results, gentle enough to admit mistakes. But he also knows when to be a wolf, disciplined enough to hold the line, hungry enough to grow, fearless enough to stand alone. This balance shapes outcomes that last a lifetime. It turns semen retention from a short experiment into a long journey of transformation. Your mentality decides what you gain from this practice. With the sheep mentality alone, you might feel a spark of change, but it will fade as soon as life tests you. With the wolf mentality alone, you might feel powerful, but you risk falling into pride and isolation. With both, you grow into a man who learns, adapts, and leads with wisdom. You gain the patience to trust the process and the discipline to dominate your impulses. You attract respect, not because you chase it, but because you embody it. You walk with quiet strength, not as one who follows blindly, but as one who leads consciously. So ask yourself, what do you want your outcome to be? If you want to remain average, keep the sheep mentality only, and you'll blend into the crowd. If you want to rise but lack balance, keep the wolf mentality only, and you'll taste power but risk downfall. But if you want to master semen retention, to truly transform your body, mind, and spirit, learn to shift between the sheep and the wolf. Learn when to follow, when to lead, when to wait, and when to strike. That is how mentality shapes outcomes. Semen retention is not just about holding your seed. It's about holding yourself accountable to a higher standard. It's about choosing who you want to be when temptation arrives. Will you be the sheep who follows the herd into weakness? Will you be the reckless wolf who burns out? Or will you become the balanced man who carries both mindsets, using humility when needed and discipline when required? The choice is yours, and the outcome will always match the mentality you carry. Master the mind, and you master retention. Master retention, and you master your life. If you made it until here, leave a crown emoji in the comments. I want to see how many of you reached the end and finished what you started. Remember, live with honor or die a coward. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and stay strong.